Look professional.
Recording now.
Hi, my name's Jacob, and back with another edition of the Tape Guys. So we believe we are at least done with 50%. So talking about pre-production, we decided we met with Tristan, our vocalist, and Chris, the guitarist for our band Slay of the Day, back in early December. And we talked about, their sonic objectives, how they're a live band and they want this album to sound as much as one of their live performances as possible, which come to find out is very doable because they have a very distinct sound. And talked about scheduling, rough some stuff out with, when we're going to start recording and pre-production and stuff like that, just getting all that out of the way, taking copious notes about what they wanted and how they wanted things done. And then at the end of it, come to find out our vocalist Tristan was warming up on the way over, so we went ahead and did a shootout for the vocal mic between the Neumann U87, the Vanguard V4, the Vanguard V13 tube mic, the Baby Bottle, and the SM7B. The Neumann U87 wound up winning that shootout, so we decided to go ahead with that. He really liked the way it sounded too. Yeah.
All right, well, that's it for pre-production. Now for the actual recording of the album. Obviously, we went with the U87 for vocals. We just thought it was really natural for his voice, that growly kind of like screamo genre thing. Like, it's very difficult to capture, and we feel like the U87 did it very, very well, very clearly, and it still maintained the warmth that you want from a U87. For the guitars, that man had the largest guitar cab I think I've ever seen, and it was quite a challenge miking it, and they actually brought in their own set of microphones that they wanted to try. Obviously, I put on more, but they had a stereo set of Beta 57As, and we put those on one of the drivers. We had one of the mics pointed directly into the center of the cone and the other one kind of hitting the side of it. On one of the other drivers, we had a Sennheiser E609 that was kind of like off center. We really got the thickness of his distortion, and it really lent itself to the style. While we were tracking in Pro Tools specifically, we were doing a lot of playlist mode comping, which made it really easy in post-production to edit things together because it was already mostly there. But just nitpicking it and getting it right where we needed it. During tracking, we made sure to double up things as much as possible whenever we needed to, specifically with vocals and guitars. I think where it's at right now, we have about 4 layers of guitar, and on certain songs, we have between 3 and 10 layers of vocals. So we're getting pretty big with our mixes. Something that we thought was pretty interesting was that our guitarist, Chris, utilized different guitars with different brand pickups for the layers. So we have a lot of flavor in terms of how everything is recorded. For vocals, we tried out whisper tracks, which was new for me. And I don't want to speak for everyone. I think it was new for all of us. Yeah, okay. So it's just such an interesting thing. Soloing it out is terrifying, but we really liked the kind of sibilance that it added with, that tongue noise, that hard S and T sounds that you get from whispers. It helped clarify the track for sure. One of the issues, I had mentioned it in one of our other video presentations, one of the issues that we came across was with our signal routing, in which we had a latency issue where the drummer would notice, I believe it was about a 4 or 5 millisecond delay on his drum track, and it really threw him off. And funnily enough, the solution to that was a shorter cable. It fixed it. So that's just a fun fact for anyone. But that's it for the production of it. It was pretty easy, pretty fun recording. Stayed there all day and night, but turned out great.
And I I'm Joey Muncie, and so far during post-production, we went through each track and started off with editing with placement with each of the instruments in playlist mode, most with timing issues, just like a few things there every now and then. And we had multiple different takes with mostly guitar and vocals, and so we would compile them to the different takes together, and take the best parts of each one to do a rough mix. And then after fixing most of the main issues that we noticed within the mix that were like the most obvious, we then added some layers onto the guitar and vocal tracks with each song to add more depth to the overall sound. And after adding the layers, we listened to each track more carefully to see if there's like anything else that stood out after the rough mix, without focusing too much on all the little like nitpicky parts. And eventually, like that's where we're at right now. And somewhere around the back end of the final mix, we're gonna go back and actually listen to like everything really carefully, so we can get all those little tiny bits that like are really irritating to us that we notice. Right, and that's all.